You know what's so funny? We were just talking in the bathroom about how you're like, you seem like the guy who never lose anything. I got in here and I go, where's my phone?
You should have had the fanny pack.
It's crazy when you think about it, man. Like, you know, squirrels. The only thing they think about is like, did they lose their nuts?
Yeah.
But most animals, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, we're one of the only species that makes that movement.
Yeah, and I normally don't just leave my phone randomly somewhere, but apparently I just left my phone randomly somewhere. And I normally don't have anyone assume that I don't lose anything.
Whales. Whales. I mean, the gift of like not having arms is you can't fucking lose anything.
I guess that. Right.
You know what I mean?
Silver lining.
Yeah. Like, you can't hold on to anything. No arms. Hold on, let me get my nicotine.
I was going to say, if you leave your phone in a gym, it's like one of the hardest things to find because everything is black and like the same color as a phone. So like you could spend so much time looking for
just kill yourself. Just fucking kill yourself. It's the worst. I feel so bad when I see people who've lost. I don't need nicotine right now. I'm not doing it. I fucking do these things too much.
Everyone's been trying to get me to get on.
Don't.
I never was a smoker either. So like,
why?
For me,
like, why? Why add something to your life that you like? You know it's addictive. You don't need. You're fine without it.
I'm also, I actually had my first espresso last summer, so this still is a drug to me.
Wow.
Like I'll take an espresso and I'll feel like I'm on whatever. I've never done meth, but I feel like it has like a thing. It's like a drug I can use for a purpose. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't need nicotine.
No, you don't. No one. No one does.
Are we rolling?
Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance.
We've had several people on the show, and the idea is always to talk about sort of like the mindset, it took to overcome adversity along the way. And when we were able to get you, I was super excited because...
Able to get me? We're friends.
I know. Yes, but still. I mean...
When you decided
would you pull some fucking strings?
Well, I mean, it is always kind of... In my mind, it's a little like... It's tough to go to friends who are successful in podcasting and be like, hey, you want to come do my thing?
I know. I feel the same way. And it's so crazy. Mm-hmm. It's like the worst thing that happens is they're like, I can't.
I know. I mean, and but either way, thank you for being here. But
thank you for having me.
The main reason, or not the main reason, but you have such an interesting take on life, and I thought to hear sort of your mindset would be incredibly entertaining, interesting, and inspiring because we've had conversations, off the record that go very deep into some things that most people aren't considering when they're facing, a difficult decision or situation. So
yeah, you're in a militia. You've tried to get me into your militia. I don't want to do that, man. I don't think we should try to overthrow the federal government. I don't think that's going to work.
We're not supposed to say that.
Sorry.
But so how did you sort of, before we even get into your career, how did you get into the thought processes, the spirituality, almost where does that even come from? Is that is that you have parents who are into that?
Well, yeah, I think it's fun to try to follow it upstream and figure it out. I mean, my mom at one point did get into what is commonly known as New Age spirituality, meaning that she started dating this hippie who I fucking hated. He wore Birkenstocks. I will forever hate Birkenstocks just because of this guy. It wasn't his fault either. Yeah. But, anybody who's dating your mom, you're just like, go, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
Dude walking out of your mom's room and
giving you a what's up
with a towel around his waist. You're like, man. You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize what a great thing it was that she met him. Even though, again, I really just, I was at a phase of my life where I didn't want anything to do with my family, my mom, that obnoxious teen phase.
Teenage, yeah.
And so she started listening to these sets of tapes by people like Ram Dass or Jack Kornfield, or just a variety of people who were sort of the progenitors of the sort of Eastern to Western translation of a lot of like philosophies that for Westerners, if they're unfiltered, can seem archaic and hard to really understand. And they were very good at sort of shifting that into a way that people in the West could really connect with. And so, you know, we listened to these things in the car. I would roll my eyes and just like, you know, do everything I could to make sure my mom knew I thought this was just bullshit. Like I was some kind of wise skeptic at like 16. Like I could even dismiss anything at all.
Yeah.
But that was the beginning. That was my first encounter with it, because I was actually listening to them.
Okay.
I was actually enjoying them, but I didn't want my mom to know. Like it was cool. There was something beautiful in it.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the beginning. And then because of that, my mom always had these new age books laying around. Be Here Now, various like yoga books, plethora of really pretty obscure philosophers and stuff. And I would just be bored and pick up one of those books and read it and think about it. And so I just got an early start, at least. I mean, usually you don't make contact with some of that stuff until later in life, or unless you're born in India or something like that. So I just got lucky.
Yeah, that's wild. It's. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I have a similar upbringing. So my mom still is like, she was she got really into it. She was like leading retreats to India, leading retreats to Bali, learning, like becoming a healer, like all those things.
Cool.
And so like I grew up, you know, I knew what the I Ching was when I was like 6, like watching people do it. And so, yeah, I feel like
that's good luck.
Yeah. And yes, when you're a kid, you're like, what is this? And then you see some pretty wild things throughout your life and you go, oh, maybe there is something there.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at least it gives you something you can investigate later in your life.
Yeah.
You know, to once you rebel and get all that out of your system, it's always there for you.
So do you think that sort of kind of set you up for the rest of your, you know, the rest of your life in the way that you wanted to, like, just the way that you view things and the way you view?
You know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's for me, it's just been chaos. Like I would love to assign more order to it, because then that would make it make more sense to me. But it's a pretty chaotic series of like weird decisions that led me to being a comedian, a podcaster, and becoming sort of engaged with like modern Buddhism and stuff. None of it was really that intentional, which always bums me out, because I'd love to be able to say like, here is what it was. But it was like, I went to a liberal arts school called Warren Wilson College. And I only went to that school because it was the only school I could get in. Like I've done horribly in high school. I hated fucking high school. The only thing I liked about high school was acid. Like I would just take acid. I remember I was always tripping, and like I was with a group of friends who were really into psychedelics, and then I fucked off for a while. I was like a dishwasher at Chili's, which was one of my favorite jobs. I was the only person who was washing dishes who wasn't disabled. Wow. And then, finally I had to get into college. I didn't have to, but, I was realizing like probably that's going to be better than washing dishes and waiting tables forever.
So you think that was sort of like your way out of that?
I wasn't thinking like that, man. I was just, it just seemed fun. Like, and I know that sounds so annoying, but
No,
it was just like, oh, this is going to be cool. Go to a liberal arts school, whatever. Yeah. Got into this liberal arts school, had to go to community college to like even get in there, because I fucked up so much in high school. And then when I was in this liberal arts school, I met one of my best friends, this kid, Emil. And, he had a huge influence on me, because like I hated his guts, man. Like, cause I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna reform. I'm in college. I'm gonna take this shit seriously. I'm gonna become a psychologist. My mom was a psychologist, like my mommy. And here's this asshole. He's like in the classes, not paying attention. He just seemed, and I just was really like such a bitch back then. I'm just like, oh, look at that. Look at him squandering this education. And he would play pinball in the fucking, where we got our mail. And I just thought he was just such a prick. He would sleep during class. And like, my dad ran a shopping center, the Mobile Festival Center. And, you know, the way those things work is you can't pay your rent and the shopping center takes all your shit. Mm-hmm. So this CD store closed down. And my dad's like, which ones you like? And I'm like, Pink Floyd. Send me a bunch of Pink Floyd. He sends me all these Pink Floyd CDs.
That's sick.
I'm sitting in the cafeteria with a pile of Pink Floyd CDs, and Emo, the asshole, sits down next to me and he sees, he's like, you like Pink Floyd? I'm like, oh yeah, I love them. He's like, you know, come to my dorm room. Let's just listen to music or something. Anyway, he had an 8-track and a guitar, and oh my God, he's like now like a incredible musician. He has this incredible band, the Holy Sons. He's a drummer for this band called Om, which used to be Sleep. But that was my first encounter with an actual artist. Like I'd never met an artist.
Yeah.
And here was an artist in the wild. Mm-hmm. And he was feral. Like he was a wild, like truly wild being. And his music was like, you know, you see some dude with a guitar and a tape recorder. You're like, all right, here we go. This is going to suck. It's going to be like some shitty version of like, Hey There, Delilah or something. And no, this was like insanely good, occult, beautiful, folky, lo-fi music. And then he introduced me to Daniel Johnston and a bunch of other like bands, and more than that, kind of existential mindset that I'd never really encountered before in a non-bullshit way, like someone who was actually like living in the moment.
That's so sick.
In a real free, wild way. And that had a huge impact on me. And then I ended up moving to LA. But all of these things sort of they come together and they go apart. It's not like all the same for you. You're not like constantly walking around chanting some Taoist mantra.
And that's what's so interesting is like to be able to reflect back at how you got there and what the mindset you had at the time. Because like as you get older, now I'll be very mindful of decisions I make and how I make them. But when I look back, I was just doing the thing I wanted to do, you know, and sometimes it didn't make sense. And sometimes you had no idea where it would take you or how you would get to where you wanted to go, but you just said, fuck it. Let's try to figure it out.
Let me tell you about some damn good beef. Better Fed Beef ships 100% American beef raised on their family farms, straight to folks across the country. No middlemen, no mystery, just pure exceptional quality.
It's called Certified Anya Beef, and it's not your average steak. They breed beef bulls with dairy cows to create something really special, a crossbred beef on dairy cattle. And that makes the meat crazy tender, full of flavor and super consistent every time.
They dry age every single cut because great beef deserves that extra time to be perfect.
Better Fed Beef prides themselves on being family focused. Their entire value chain, from their family farms, their family-owned artisanal butcher partners, their entire business is ran by families.
They're proud of what they raise, and they don't take shortcuts. No fluff, no frills, just the best eating experience that you can get.
Yeah, I mean, I said this last time, but the beef is really good. It really is. I mean, I've had it a couple times at the house. I know we're getting you a box.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Got a box coming next week.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, you don't have to go to the supermarket. It shows up. You know the quality is going to be great. It really is. It really is good. I mean, listen, if you want to try it, head to betterfedbeef.com and use promo code NADC to get 20% off your entire order. Obviously, first order only. But listen, real beef, real families.
Not a damn chance
that you're going to find better beef.
Yeah, and it's very much like a dream when you sort of look at your life and then you look at the way you dream. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that dream logic, you know, you wake up like, oh, that was a crazy dream. I was here, and then I was in an airplane, but then all of a sudden I was at some kind of meeting with like dinosaurs, but then I was on the beach. But in the dream, weirdly, like the moment you start questioning that
Yeah.
in the dream, you're having a lucid dream. Usually you're not even questioning it. You're just getting pinballed around this like bizarre landscape. But if you sort of pause for a moment and look back at your life,
Yeah.
it's dream logic. None of it makes that much sense that we're all sitting here. None of it makes any sense.
I've never put two and two together, but you're right. Like I assume you know how to lucid dream, or you can lucid dream. Or you do?
I don't. I mean, I don't. It's not like I'm always lucid dreaming,
Yeah.
but I went through a lucid dreaming period.
My mom taught me when I was younger, and you can't do it every try, but like
No.
it is why. And you in the way you do it is you reckon like you're in your house, and then you're like, that's not where the door to my bedroom is supposed to be, and then you
Right.
go, oh, that means it's not my house. Oh, that means I'm in a dream. Oh, now I can take control.
Great. Now it's time to turn my hands into vaginas.
I haven't taken the liberty of that.
Then you,
specific
what
one.
are you lucid dreaming for? Flying?
You're missing out on the whole point.
But I think that is also an approach to life, and I think that life does resemble that. And like, you know, for some people, I talk to some people, and they're like, I don't remember my dreams, or I don't dream, and I'm like, that seems so crazy to me, because like I'll sometimes have to wake up and be like, I don't remember if it happened in a dream or if it actually happened. I'll have to like check my bank account or like check and see
Crazy.
something, because like I don't know
Vivid.
if it really happened or not.
Vivid dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and then the assumption in this long dream is it isn't a dream, because you kind of have to do that to like, you know, I guess you have to do that. Most people seem to like buy into this isn't a dream, even though it's preceded by oblivion and followed by oblivion, like every dream you have. You know what I mean? You know, it's so interesting. It's exactly this. You can have a real connection with someone in a dream.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, you're not like, I'm mourning right now. I lost my dream friend. You don't think about them ever again. So similarly, that's what happens when you die. People who remain in the dream, they're sad about you for a little bit, but not.
They keep moving on.
You got it. What are you gonna do? You got to keep
yeah.
moving on. It's not like otherwise we'd all be crying every day.
It's like, it seems like once you once you realize, and I'm not saying that's actually how it is, but like it is a way to look at life that makes life much more enjoyable, manageable, less stressful, and
Yeah.
you know, you feel freer to go and just try shit.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, and again, I don't want to say that's my philosophy or anything like that, but sometimes when I look at decisions I've made, there does seem to be a nice streak of nihilism mixed in there, which is, I don't know, is even logical. I don't think nihilism I think if you're a nihilist, you're probably not fully taking everything in. You're only taking a little bit of it in. And then nihilism is also a fairly pleasurable way to live if you want to be a piece of shit. 'Cause, you know, like no consequence, everything's meaningless.
What exactly is nihilism? I think I'm familiar with it, but like,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the term.
So nihilism would be there's really no meaning to any of this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You could say, like, listen, I know right now you kind of seem like you have things that you care about and things that you love and things that you want and all of that. But ultimately, you're just a sort of framing of an infinite process in which matter coalesces in specific ways. Sometimes they're so complex, it becomes self-aware. Most of the time, it's just meteors and dirt. And right now, you happen to be self-aware clump of carbon, water. You feel like you matter, but ultimately no one's gonna remember you. No one's gonna remember any of us. No one's gonna give a shit about any of us. It won't matter at all. And if you think that it will, you're out of your fucking mind. Like, because I mean, think of like the pharaohs.
Yeah.
People barely know the fuck that was, and they built the pyramids. People aren't talking about them that much. They built pyramids. So if people barely remember the pharaohs, no one's gonna remember a mid-level fucking podcaster who made a show on Netflix. So that's nihilism. That's a version of nihilism.
Yeah.
You can go much further with it too.
Yeah.
But then what that discounts is the transient meaning that does seem to exist in everything, regardless of if your goal is to assign permanence to meaning. If that's what makes meaning real to you, then I don't think that's a fair assessment of things. So you have to balance your nihilism out with just the reality that also there's real connections and meaning in this world and things that matter not just to you but to other people. And that, yeah, sure, it seems like a LARP. It seems like we're doing a really, really committed kind of online role-playing game, but
He's looking at me because that's what I say all the time.
Yeah.
maybe
The
it
video
is.
game.
yeah, or a dance, just some kind of really long, ridiculous dance, or whatever you want to put it. But also, there is legitimate beauty and meaning, and somehow that meaning and beauty can actually be amplified by the non-ignorance of potential infinite oblivion on both sides of the in the framing of the thing itself. It becomes quite vivid and beautiful in that regard. Like, wow, we get to be something for a second.
Yeah, it makes me think like, so that is sort of what I thought nihilism was, but I thought nihilism was more using a derogatory term towards the person, meaning like they understand nothing matters and therefore they become kind of like a piece of shit, or they start doing things that aren't moral because of that. But you clarified for me that nihilism isn't what you do with it, it's the understanding of it's sort of, nothing mattering, which I also then think having the understanding or appreciation and respect for nihilism, or identifying as somewhat of a nihilist, actually is helpful, because then you go, nothing matters, so why not have fun and be moral? Because having fun, being moral, those things all kind of work together to kind of create the best existence. Especially if this existence doesn't matter, you may as well enjoy it.
Well, yeah, but also I think like I said, I think nihilism is a incomplete assessment of things, because it's more like nothingness, meaninglessness, and depends on meaning to exist. So meaning and meaninglessness are interdependent, because if there is no meaning, then meaninglessness itself
becomes meaningless.
Yeah,
It doesn't exist. Right?
There's nothing to resist in that case. So, and nothingness requires there to have been a somethingness to take some kind of form. So they're interdependent, meaning that it's very easy to get on one side or the other of that picture. You can either go full nihilist, or you can become an eternalist, like someone who is subscribing in some way to the idea that there's a possibility of a permanent situation here, and there's all kinds of ways to do that.
What is that, like through reincarnation, permanency, or?
Yeah, you could do it through reincarnation. You could do it through saying you have a soul. You could do it through, when I die, I'll be in heaven with my family. You could do it through simulation theory, theoretically. There's all kinds of ways to sort of try to assuage the part of yourself that's shitting its pants over, like, not being able to cling to the current form that you're in. And so that would be eternalism, which is almost a form of nihilism if you think about it. But and so then you're sort of essentially reducing you're dreaming of some point of a changeless reality. And so that would be eternalism. And we all just get imbalanced on one side or the other. It's hard to stay right, and like to recognize the two things are interdependent and take sides.
Wild stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say, bringing it back to like college.
Yeah.
What made you make the choice to go over to LA?
Thank you for asking that. I was sort of here's my grand plan was take some time off, just go fuck off and in the world. And then I would go to grad school. I did good enough to get into some kind of grad school, probably get get a license so I could become a clinical therapist, which for some reason I thought I wanted to do. And so then I inherited like $10,000 or $15,000 from my grandmother.
Okay.
Big pile of cash.
Yeah.
And so I moved to LA. It was either New Orleans or LA. I just wanted a city to like party
Either
in.
one.
Yeah. And I thought LA be a fun city to like, big city, fun city. It'll be fun to like just fuck off there. And I, was thinking of the Doors movie, and then I just end up in LA. And
Did you know anyone, or you just went out there?
I didn't know anybody.
Just went
Wow.
for it.
Knew not a soul.
Wow.
Moved out to LA for no reason. All these whatever shit I hauled over there, like I thought I needed. And I remember that was fun too, man. It was really fun driving across the country for no reason. And then I'm like, Doors movie. Let's try Venice Beach. I get to Venice Beach.
Wow.
I'm like, what the fuck? This is not the Doors movie, Venice Beach. But I was just parked in front of some house, and this like Guatemalan old man who was mowing a lawn was like, "Hey, are you looking for a place to live?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "My son is renting his place.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to live there?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I mean, literally, like I
That's
just
so-
fucking parked.
And
It's like,
how much does that resemble like you're in an open world game and you get to a place and then all of a sudden an NPC pops up
Pops
and he's
in.
like, "Oh, you're actually here." And you're like, "I had no idea where the fuck I was."
honestly, in an open world game, if that happened, I'd be like, "Is this really open world?" Because it seems so obvious.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, then I end up like, oh my God, this was just brutal because somehow I had met because I'd stayed at a hostel. I met these beautiful German girls. And I've been telling them, I'm kind of going to be moving into my beach bungalow coming up. So you guys don't have to stay at this hostel. You could come stay over there. And they're like, great. And so I walk in the day I'm supposed to move in, and there's this dude on a mattress on my floor. I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm supposed to move in here today."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, shit. Sorry, man. Yeah, it's my dad. He didn't even tell me." And then I realized what had happened. His dad was like pissed at him and just told me I could move in to get him to get the fuck out.
Oh, shit.
And so this dude he's this beautiful, like 6 point, just giant. He's vivid blue eyes, and these German girls see him and they fall in love immediately. I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
motherfucker, this is some bad luck, man.
You're saying the German girl's like the guy with the blue eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone fell in love with that guy. And but as it turns out, he had a very severe crack problem. He liked to smoke
okay.
crack cocaine. He moved into this cement shed behind my house and would just smoke crack with his weirdo friend. And like I would open the gate and beer cans would spray everywhere and he'd jump out.
Oh, wow.
And he'd point to the beer cans and be like, "That's a Venice alarm system." And so he was a crackhead. And I pretty much owe my entire comedy career to him because he loved LA. And I remember him taking me on this like cracked out tour of LA. And he had this insane appreciation
Damn.
for so much of LA. We drove by the House of Blues. And he treated it like it was the Taj Mahal. He's like, "That is the House of Blues, the Comedy Store, the world famous Comedy Store." And I remember looking at the Comedy Store and thinking like, "Whoa, dude, what the fuck is that?" It's this black building.
Yeah.
Just this creepy black building like in Hollywood. It looks so sinister and
It
weird.
does.
And obviously ran out of money, spent it on a like vial of acid and synthesizers, and just ran out of money real quick. He was taking me to underground LA raves too.
Oh, wow.
Like the real ones.
Yeah.
And oh my God. Like
And this is when, like, late 90s?
this would have been
mid-90s?
like, yeah, late 90s.
Yeah.
And these raves, oh my God, they weren't hiding drugs. They would walk around with like trays of fruit and acid on it. And just, it was
Crazy.
the best. And so of course I ran out of money and I needed a job. And I remembered the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'll just try to get a job there. I knew nothing about the history of it. Nothing.
You weren't like a big stand-up fan or like...
I loved stand-up, but I had made zero connections to what that place was. It just looked cool.
It just drove you in by seeing it.
Yeah, man.
just like-
It was like, yeah, it got me. It called to me.
It called to you,
It
damn.
magnetized
Let's go.
me in there. Got a job on the phones. I remember Pauly Shore walking in, who I used to watch in my friend's trailer, the Pauly show. I'm like, what the fuck? This is so crazy. There's Pauly Shore. And all the comics were like, dude, why don't you do any stage time? That was the only reason I have a job there. You got paid nothing. The only reason they got people to work there was they would like throw them 3-minute spots.
Oh, wow.
They all were comedians hoping that something would happen. And I'm like, I'm not going to do comedy.
So you got a job there not having any ambition of being a comedian?
zero.
Oh, wow.
It just called. He just popped up. He was like, all right.
Well, I remember, when you're a phone guy, you're terrified because you think, Mitzi will call. And if Mitzi doesn't like your voice, you're fired immediately. And so everyone in the phones is like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's going to be so terrible. I'm going to get canned. And I remember I got my first call from her. Oh, you're the new phone guy. I'm like, great to meet you. So do you want to be a comic? I'm like, I don't think so. And she's like, well, you never know, honey. And then, I just ended up meeting Ari there. Ari came to work on the phones. I ended up getting the job of the talent coordinator. But before that, I got the job of the runner, which was basically driving Mitzi around in this van. Scammed into that job because Freddie Soto, God rest his soul, he was the runner, which was a curse. Because if you were a comic and you got the job of the runner, you had to drive Mitzi around. But if you wanted out of that job, you were in danger. She might get pissed off. No more spots.
Oh, wow.
So it's the monkey's paw of jobs. You got to pass that shit down.
Yeah.
And so the technique used by generations of comedians to get that fucking job off their hands was to just bullshit some dummy and be like, she only lets people drive her who she really thinks could be comedians. And I had made him laugh because by then I'd started working in the cover booth and I was trolling him, telling him my sister, I don't have a sister, telling my sister saw his stand up and she wants to suck his dick. But I was real sincere about it. And you could see he was like, really? And I think he's like, you got a picture of her?
Oh, my God. He's like, I'm into it.
And then when he found out I had trolled him for a few days, he thought it was so funny. And then I just remember, this is, I guess, more the point of your show. I'm pumping gas into the van, training to be the runner of the Comedy Store. And Freddie says to me, Duncan, why don't you just try to be a comic? He's like, if you go to grad school, that's going to be 10 years. How much money is that going to cost? He's like, maybe if you put 10 years into this, you could have it as your job. You could be a comic.
Yeah.
And my brain, I remember, it's like time just went, time froze. It's like, when your brain takes snapshots or something, I still could see it in my mind. I could see it vividly. And and I would say that was the moment that I began to change my plans and decided to start trying to be a comedian.
Crazy.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
And so the story's weird because I don't have like a classic sort of, this is what I thought it was really not what I thought I would do at all.
I love that. Everything kind of happened organically for you. You were just kind of going through life and this thing shot you over here and then that thing shot you over there.
Yeah.
And
Kind of like that. But all that being said, there's a big space between deciding to be a comedian and becoming a comedian.
For
If
sure.
deciding to be a comedian is all it took, there'd be a lot more comics out there.
So do you believe in destiny then?
No, I don't.
No?
No, I don't believe in destiny at all. I don't believe it, at least in the normal sense at all. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's probably some big unquantifiable forces in the world that kind of have currents that you could get dragged into one way or the other. But no, I don't lean into that at all. But I do have a sense that the universe is a safe place. I do have a sense that
It has somewhat of a plan, or
not a plan, but it's more like it's a very potent place. And it's a reflective place. I think it's very reflective. And so I think that it's an amplifier of one's sort of energy.
what you put into it, you can get out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, or like funhouse mirror. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like you put some kind of energy into the world and you see it reflected back, but then that reflection gets warped by your own distortion, the way that your paranoia, your fear, and then and then because you're distorting your own reflection, it distorts it even more. And there's a kind of feedback loop of distortion that's possible that confirms some notion of how things are. But to get back to the nihilist thing, the meaningless thing, or what actually is emptiness. It's empty of any kind of inherent form. What that means is absolute freedom. And there's a lot you can play around with in that regard. So if you can sort of start playing around with the reflectivity of things, and you can actually, I know you know this, like you just start noticing that what you put out, you get back, but it's not as obvious as that sounds. It's not like a fucking bank or something.
Yeah.
Is it like, do you believe in like manifesting kind of style, like manifesting positivity?
I mean, I think there is no way to not manifest.
Yeah.
If you're eating food, you're manifesting. Shit, for sure. We're shit manifestors. Every human is very good at manifesting shit, but not just shit. We manifest CO2, which feeds the plants. Women can manifest a baby. Are you kidding? Speaking of like, come on, you gonna buy that? Really? So how does that work again? So you just like send microscopic DNA nanobots via the tip of your cock into a vagina. And then a woman, without, when a woman is pregnant, she's not like, oh, fuck, I got to start growing the spine today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just does it.
Effortlessly, a baby will form within, so we can do that. No problem. You could do that. You could be the dumbest asshole on earth and still make the most beautiful fucking baby ever. No problem. And so we could do that. We grow, well, I don't grow as much hair as I used to. We grow hair. We're always regrowing ourselves. We all know this. This is like, so how do you not manifest? Like there's zero possibility to not manifest in this world except by death. And even then you're manifesting. You continue to manifest minus a brain. You grow plants and so yes, I am annoyed by some of the manifestation stuff I've seen out there in the sense that I think it could really I think it could confuse people potentially into believing in a fairy tale-ish sort of reality.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's some idea that like if you just think about it, it will happen. But it's more about you actually. I mean, it's like this could be another hour tangent if we go off onto this, but like the difference between karmic energy and dharmic energy,
right?
And so like if you actually are like. Now you can effortlessly manifest everything you just said happens by nature or virtue of the fact that the world exists, but you can also cognitively and materially manifest things in the sense of like you manifested becoming a professional skateboarder because you skateboarded every day and you kept doing it and you manifested a career out of that.
Yeah.
But you could never manifest a career out of that just by willing it. You have to actually go and do it.
Let me tell you. Also, I could like, I'll tell you a skateboard story.
Yes, let's go.
So I'm trying to be a good dad. I got this skateboard for him a while ago. Got him out in the driveway. I'm like, okay, guys. When I was younger, I wanted to learn to ollie on a skateboard. Could never really figure it out. But you know what? You should never give up. And we can all learn to ride the skateboard again. Well, I could learn again. You guys could learn for the first time. And I'm now going to start working on my ollie again. And they're watching, listening, really listening. And I'm like, here we go. Try to ollie. Bust my ass. Just fucking wipe out. They're laughing so hard. I'm thinking like that, break my hip.
Oh, no.
Like an old man on a skateboard. No one's going to have any sympathy for me. I haven't skateboarded in years. So, yeah, the idea that you could think your way into being a professional skateboarder, minus the skateboarding, is completely ignorant and insane, stupid and lazy. And
but there
why?
is this whole like culture of like just manifest it.
Well, yeah, that's called grifting. Because a grifter could do anything. You'll notice a grifter's good at everything. They'll tell you. I mean, you're not selling tickets by telling somebody you could be really good at this in 15 years. Nobody wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that.
That's the bottom line. Everything takes practice. And to build something, you have to put in the hard work.
You
the
got
hours, the years, the days, all that stuff.
And you have to love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to love it.
That's the other thing about it. And that was like with stand-up, Mitzi was she had this just brutal series of initiations you had to go through to become a comic. And a lot of people got confused about why she did that. Sometimes, like, look what she did to Shanley. Gary Shanley made him audition for her, I don't know how many times, and in an unholy amount of times. Because it was terrifying to do that. It was just constant rejection. You're getting rejected from this like guru of comedy, so it hurt. But the reason she did that is my theory is she knew that the people who kept coming back to try again actually wanted to do stand-up.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to curse somebody with some like success, quote success. In other words, yeah, great. So now an agent sees you and you all of a sudden all this stuff happens in your life, but you don't want to get on stage.
Yeah.
You don't like performing. Well, that's hell. Now she's like helped someone, and also a comic jumped off the side of the Hyatt. Like she's seen what it could do to people, and she just wanted to make sure you really want to do it. And I think that, so many people they've confused their longing for a sense of security in the world with like a nice car. They think I want a nice car, a beautiful house, or all these things, but really what they want is to feel like they're being held like a baby by the universe. They're safe. That's all they want, is to feel safe. And in their mind, the way to get there is, crypto, grinding in crypto.
They're misidentifying lust for love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. And no one sitting here has ever done that. Not in a million years have any of these gentlemen confused lust and love.
So we have identified, or we've established that it was not your destiny to to find the Comedy Store and start out on this path of becoming a stand-up. But you find yourself at the Comedy Store. You have the guy talk you into finally trying it. How does that start out? Like, what is your how do you write your first joke? How do you get on stage for the first time?
Horrible.
How do you what is that story?
I did it the first time with all of my idiot college hubris and psychedelic, quote, wisdom. I'm going to reinvent the wheel, baby. No one will have seen anything like this before. It'll be like lo-fi comedy, real fucking crazy, man. I basically got up there and just babbled. I didn't know what I fucking said. But I got off stage, and Eleanor, my friend Eleanor, at the time, I hated her guts. She's a waitress there. And she looks at me and goes, "Hey, Duncan." I'm like, "Yeah?" She goes, "I don't know what that was, but it wasn't comedy." Oh, that's why that place is great, because that's exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
I need it. Thank God she said that to me. Thank God nobody was like, "Dude, you're reinventing the wheel." I needed like somebody with a thick Philadelphia accent to tell me that was shit. And so yeah, man, it was not like, you hear people like my first set was it was incredible. No way, man. I ate shit, man. I was not funny and I was lazy, and like what happened is I got real lucky, which is I had seen Willie, Tyler, and Lester on stage. They're like an old school kind of like ventriloquist. I'm saying they. It's one person and a puppet. But so I liked watching him because there was something so mournful about him. Like he seemed like he was a time traveler from like after everything's been blown up or AI destroys everything. And he was a time traveler that knew there was no hope. He's like, I'll just do a ventriloquist act. And because he just seemed so sad, like his soul was sad. And I just thought it was so funny, especially around Christmas. He would sing with that puppet. And it was this mournful song about friends that we lost along the way. And it was not funny, but it was so poignant. And so, but I'm watching him harmonize with the puppet. And, I'm just like thinking, I wonder what other stuff he has on a CD, like that is like pre-recorded. And I'm standing next to this comic and he's watching, his mouth is just like, oh, and he goes, now he's a genius. How can he do two voices at the same time? And that a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, oh my God. People think he's really harmonious.
You can't, yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Unless you had like an extra set of vocal cords installed or you like had a Walkman shoved down your throat. That isn't going to happen. So as soon as I got home, I went on eBay to look up the most satanic looking fucking ventriloquist puppet I could find. I'm like, I'm going to do a satanic ventriloquist doll act. And all I knew about it was at the end, I'm going to fucking like get possessed by the doll and harmonize with the doll, but it'll be like deeply satanic.
Yeah.
And people loved it. That was the beginning of Lil Hobo.
So that was that was one of your first things that like got you.
That one started working, man. I went out there and did this whole thing about how my grandfather passed away and then like he left me this puppet and and like we were gonna we were gonna bury the puppet with him at his funeral, like which was a couple days away, and I just wanted to give him one last chance on stage. And up until that point, the puppet had been kind of like a puppet. But then, right when I say we're gonna bury him with my grandfather, he kind of like it's like wakes up for a second, and then somewhere along the act, he's like, "What do you mean you're gonna bury me with somebody I just killed?" I'm like, "You killed my grandfather?" Anyway, like I offered his soul to the Dark Lord, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do to you. And then I would get possessed, and it freaked people out. And I think Rogan saw that. Rogan happened to be in the back of the room and saw me do that. I get off stage, he gives me a big hug, and he's like, you want to go out on the road with me? And he just wanted to horrify his audience. He just wanted to like do a satanic puppet act in front of his audience to freak them out. And so I would like basically eat shit up into Little Hobo and then do the puppet act. And so again, just another stroke of good fortune, which is Rogan happened to see me do the puppet.
Yeah.
And it started taking me out way before I should have been going out, like featuring.
Were you guys friends already, or he just saw you around work basically?
Well, because I was the talent coordinator, and
he
would call, and like we would have these like hours. We would do this is before he had a podcast, so we would just talk about DMT and psychedelics and crazy shit, and it was just so funny. It just seemed like any of my other stoner friends, and like we would just talk and. We got to be friends. I think he was relieved to see that I was funny. And then, he just started taking me on the road with him. And, but that wasn't like that still, I'm featuring for him, but that doesn't mean anything. And then like got engaged to somebody who was on TV, and she's great. And thank God it didn't work out. But then basically I'm homeless, like essentially. I mean, I could move home with my mom, I guess. And I tell Joe, and he's like, move in with me. Why don't you come move in with me? Ended up living with Rogan for, I don't remember how long. Probably seemed longer to him than it did to me. But he was so cool. He was like, he was like, you have full access to all my weed and my float tank.
You're like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't even need a bedroom.
But then like he would like, we would have dinner and he would like, but he was, he is a sensei sort of. And he would like have these serious talks with me, kind of like trying to snap me out of my bullshit.
Yeah.
And like that, it was really cool. Something that's cool about him is like, something that's wonderful is he won't put like, he's just not going to put up with bullshit. Like if he starts identifying something, it's like, it's very inspirational kind of. And so that really kind of woke me up. And yeah, I just basically ended up, but that didn't, I guess if we're going to end whatever this is in a way that like puts something of a bow on it, I ended up in a sublet in Atwater Village with no money. Another breakup had happened. I had broken up. Natasha Leggere and I had parted ways, and we had a podcast together. And so she didn't want to keep doing that podcast, which is called the Lavender Hour.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in a sublet in Atwater Village and start the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. But this was real now, because that was like, there's no one was going to help me, man. Like, I was fucked. Like, I'm in a sublet. I have no money. Like, I am doomed if I don't make something work. And so I started going to Costco and printing out pictures of my puppet, Little Hobo. Someone had painted this awesome picture of me and Little Hobo. And I was like, let me sell these. They wanted me to autograph it, or I don't remember what it was. I came up, they were very kind and let me start selling them. Start selling these Little Hobo posters. Started selling some merch. Then I started making money off my podcast. Couldn't believe it. Got some ads. Holy shit. But it only happened when all safety nets were gone, when there's no hope.
Yeah.
And then it got real. And when it got real, that's when my brain started putting pieces together. Like, no more sleeping late, no more fucking off, no more pretending that you're doing something when you're not. I had to really make it work. Like, it took my back being completely against the wall, a desperate situation.
So did you start the podcast like just by yourself, and did you have a producer? Were you doing it in a studio? Like, how did that come about?
Me and Natasha heard about, I don't remember where we heard about podcasts. A few people had started doing them. We just started doing this podcast. I remember how that happened.
This before Joe had his, or?
Don't know. I think he was starting to mess around with it, probably. But no one knew.
Yeah.
No one thought
that it would become this.
Yeah.
No one. You would have to explain to someone what a podcast was.
Yeah.
And we just had our laptop and hit record and have these conversations and upload it. And I remember we would like look at like how many people were listening to it. And like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like 800 people listen to this? That seemed insane.
Yeah.
Who? Why? And yeah, and then like this guy, Marshall Childs, who runs the Laughing Skull in Atlanta, a little comedy club out there. He called me up one day and he's like, Duncan, he's like Nostradamus. He's like, Duncan, you know, podcasts are going to be in cars and people are going to be, this is going to be a big thing. And I think you and Natasha you should take it seriously because this is going to be a real thing. And I was like, my heart, I remember kind of fluttered. I'm like, oh my God, I think he's right. And so we started taking it more seriously. And then, yeah, he was right. He was right. And then another stroke of good fortune happened that Pendleton Ward, this genius who made Adventure Time, emails me up in the sublet in Atwater Village. It's like, I like your podcast, man. And I just wanted you to know I like your podcast. And I remember,
like, oh shit.
I thought it was a troll. I think I wrote him back and said, I'm pretty, it's fine. You're trolling me, but whatever. And I meant that. I'm like, fucking the guy that made Adventure Time and listened to me ramble. But he was. And then I remember him telling me, dude, I think I have an idea for a show with your podcast. And we went to meet for coffee. And I was trying to play it like I wasn't just dead broke. But in my mind, I'm like, holy God, this could be it. This might, oh my God, I'm going to make a show with Pendleton? Holy fucking shit, this is incredible. And like somewhere through the coffee, he's like, you know, man, I don't think I have time to work on a show right now. And I'm like, who does these days? We're all busy. But then years later, he called me up in New York and was like, okay, I'm ready to make the show. And that became the Midnight Gospel on Netflix. A lot of people like. Yeah. So again, it was just like, you know, when I try to piece it all together, it's
doesn't make much sense.
It's dream logic.
Yeah.
It feels like dream logic. All of us. I mean, look, like who would ever like if you're a teenager, it's like, man, I'm gonna be one of the greatest skateboarders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
No way.
I'm sure you are.
For sure.
Get out there, kid. I mean, if my kid said that to me, I'd be like, hell yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. But
Well, now it's an Olympic sport. You know, back then you were a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, no one. 80% of skateboarders were criminals. By the way, I was always friends with skateboarders. You guys were-
We're still criminals.
Yeah.
I believe you.
It's
we had to
only a
wear shirts that said
badge.
skateboarding is not a crime,
For
just
sure.
because everyone thought it was.
Oh yeah, and other crimes too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, it's just it's such a highly improbable sort of life that we all have. It just feels like some kind of dream or something like that. But really, it just boils down to you got to stick to something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Perfect.
it seems like you have, and it seems like, I mean, it seems like you have found, you've had ups and downs, but it seems like, life is not supposed to be a steady climb up.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be, have peaks and valleys. And I think it's important because it actually makes you, enjoy the nice things when you go through the bad things.
It also,
Or
like,
cling to them desperately, knowing they'll go away soon.
it makes you like who you are too,
Yes, that's right.
like those peaks and valleys.
Yes.
It's just like you need those to like create character, and create deeply who you are.
Well, and also not a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I don't know how much of that view, which I do share with you, is actually just trying to rationalize living in a universe where you're certain to lose absolutely everything that you cherish and love at some point. So you come up with a story about how like this builds character, because it's kind of like being in hell and being like, the fires of hell are helping me write poetry.
For sure.
That's the nihilist part of me. But truly, though, like, I mean, I don't know if it's true for skateboarding, and we'll never know if this is true for skateboarding, but like I've noticed anytime with stand-up or any other thing I'm trying to learn to do or doing, man, I hit this wall where I'm like, it's impossible. Whatever this is can't be done. I'm never going to make this joke funny, or there's no way I can like write another hour. Just forget it. I've begun to recognize whenever I'm there, oh fuck yeah.
You're at the edge.
That's where the breakthrough is.
about
Like
to
it
pass
happens
over.
right there.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
And that, so you
part of the process.
Yes, doesn't make it hurt any less, but at least now I recognize what that is. It's a false wall. It's like seems like an impenetrable wall.
But that's kind of the thing I always talk about, like getting to the edge of the cliff. I feel like my idea of how to find success, and success means different things to different people,
Sure.
but to truly find success in the thing that you're looking for, you have to kind of walk up to a ledge that you can't see the floor. You have to jump. You have to break all the bones in your body, get up and jump off the next ledge. And at that one is where all the breakthroughs happen. And there's and there's so many people who will get to that point where it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try something else. But it's without realizing that that's actually a step towards achieving the thing you're working towards.
yeah, it's one of the tests.
Yes.
And you're right. I mean, there's so many people who could have been really
Had
great
they not
artists.
just gone a little bit farther, just not given up.
Yeah, but I get it. I totally understand. I mean, also there's a lot of people who maybe could have had more fulfilled, happier lives had they not, gone like running off towards some crazy thing. But I think probably what we all have in common is that, let's just say Iran launches a dirty nuke into, or what do they call it? A dirty bomb into Israel, because they're kind of backed into a corner. They have no choice. They know they're going down. So they just irradiate Israel, which pulls the United States into a global conflagration. And the society, as we know, completely collapses. A new like Jewish diaspora coming from Israel spreads throughout Europe, and not to mention like the ecological devastation in most of the Middle East, the complete disruption of the oil supply. So everything just collapses. And we're going to obviously probably, if we survive that, you will still skateboard. You will still be making great food.
We're gonna have to eat. That's
And
for sure.
if there's like a place where there's doing stand-up shows in the fallout shelters or wherever we're living,
we're gonna need comic relief. We're gonna need a lot of comic relief.
yes. And so I think that's a good litmus test for you. If you're wondering, like, is this really what I want to do? Just ask yourself, would you do this in a dystopian radioactive hellscape? And if the answer is like, yeah, well, then failure in that regard usually just means you're not making money at it. But you're not really failing because you're doing
The thing you
something
love.
you want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
you know, if like economic quantification is what you're using as a measure for success, it could, not to say, dude, we need to eat.
Yeah.
And it is fun to not have to worry about, you know, paying rent. It is fun to not be dead broke. I know it is fun for me to not sleep on a fucking mattress on the floor with roaches crawling on me. I like that. but also, man, if you start measuring your success by money, then just get into real, like, there's
Yeah.
so many cool other ways to make money that maybe aren't as sexy, but if that's okay. That's, maybe you do just want to be a hedonist and have shit tons of money, and like, maybe that's all you want. You don't want to do art or skateboard or make delicious food.
Well, that's the thing, is everybody is drawn to something different. And I think that sort of like my thought process, or my thought on like the sort of the key to life, is to find the thing that you would do for free and figure out how to monetize it. Because if you want to be doing it, and we've talked about like balance. It's like, you don't need a work-life balance if it's only like work when it's like, oh, I got to do that thing. But otherwise, if you would just wake up and go and do that all day for free, and you can monetize that, and for some people it might be cooking, it might be stand-up, it might be skateboarding,
It might be eating pussy.
there are people who figured out how to monetize that,
did.
and they make a lot of money.
No, I didn't make it. I did actually didn't make a lot of money doing that. And also, I can remember like day 3, I'm like, this is kind of work.
Did you really do that?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, in New York. I mean, it was not actually technically vagina. I mean, okay, yeah, I used to like suck cock for money. I'm sorry. Life wasn't handed to me on a platter like you guys. I didn't get a skateboard from an angel, or just, I was in fucking, no, everything I said's a lie. I was addicted to heroin in New York. I don't even do comedy anymore, man.
Well, you got us fucking cracking up.
I'm kidding. No, I'm so sorry to tell you. You're absolutely right. Like, whatever you're doing, man, just Jesus Christ, you got to really make sure that. Also, if you don't like what you're doing, and what you're doing involves like giving something to people, they're gonna taste that you don't like it in the food.
For sure.
They're gonna watch the way you're skating and be like, he's not into that shit. He fucking hates this shit. And God knows how can you do stand up if you don't want to be there?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Like, people sense it. You have to infuse it with like, you actually love doing it. I mean, by the way, you don't have to love it every day. How do you like anything every fucking day?
Yeah.
If you can't love yourself every day, how are you going to love other things you do every day?
You just got to love whatever it is more often than you don't.
Yep.
There you go.
And understand and have respect for the fact that you are human. You will go through, there's just like the waves go in and out. So does your mind. I know you have a heart out. And so,
I'm sorry about that. I should have asked you how long the show
we normally go
was.
6 hours, but it's fine. We can.
I like the long form podcast. Feels
No,
like we're just getting started.
No, well, I mean, we normally, I think our longest is like an hour 45.
Oh,
We'll end
cool.
up being an
Perfect.
hour 25. So it's not like
Perfect.
It's not like anyone at home's gonna be like, what happened? That was a half an episode. But as we wrap up, there's always a question that we ask our guests, and that is, magic lamp on the table, genie comes out, but you get one wish, and that wish is, what does your life look like 10 years from now? You get to completely fabricate your entire existence 10 years from today. What is that for you? Knowing that obviously there's no such thing as destiny, and therefore you can decide.
10 years from now, you think about that. Dogs are going to be dead, so I don't need to wish for them to disappear now. They're so loud. Let's see. 10 years from now. What I wish my life would be like?
Yeah, I mean, and you could, I mean, as part of that, you could say there's no more war because that's the life that you want to live in, right?
No,
Like,
it
what's-
isn't. Who would wish for no more war? A fool. Only a fool would wish for that. Glory of battle. Glory of battle. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess 10 years from now, I don't know, like Pleasure Dome. It'd be cool to have a Pleasure
I
Dome.
mean, we laugh, but also that's not, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have.
Would you, like anyone who's like, what? You wouldn't want a Pleasure Dome? And Xanadu to Kubla Khan's daily Pleasure Dome, the Kree were off the sacred. You want a Pleasure Dome? Yeah, a Pleasure Dome. You know what I would like? I would like 10 years from now for me, my family, all of my dearest friends to, I don't know what has happened. You didn't say, how do you get there?
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be fucking incredible to live in some kind of beautiful, like Samuel Taylor Coleridge style Garden of Eden, infinite landscape. I'm not even sure what goes on in a Pleasure Dome, and I'm sure my wife is gonna have questions. What do you do with that Pleasure Dome? She's invited. No, man, I'm sorry to be boring,
It's not boring at all.
but really, what I hope like 10 years from now is that I've become more peaceful.
Mhm.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
And that I'm able to like maintain a real peaceful sort of patience and sort of a stable mind state regardless of phenomena. I mean, again, if we're going to wish for global utopia, we're obviously blah, blah. I wish for that. We're all in Pleasure Domes floating in space, or we wake up and we realize we're all God and everything's great or whatever. But, I think over the next 10 years, probably cultivating a kind of non-dependent mind state where things don't have to be lined up according to your whims for you to be happy is probably the best thing to do, seeing that we're all going to be disassembled by nanobots within 5.
That's awesome. I like that.
Well, maybe we'll end it there. We only have 5 years before, you heard it, guys. Only 5 years before we're all disassembled by nanobots.
No, I'm sorry. The nanobots are year 10. I would say.
Oh, okay, 10 years.
Yeah, I know. If you want the Trussell prediction, it's 5 years, between 30 and 35% unemployment, and it's sort of like more of an autocratic power structure stretching around the world in some desperate attempt to undo what's happening because of AI. And then in another 5 years, probably AI whips up some kind of bioweapon using protein folding and a genetic like matter printer and creates some kind of disease that wipes us all out. But probably duplicates us and puts us in some kind of simulator or something like that to continue to study us, which is exactly where we are right now. But it seems like they wipe it at some point, and
We
we're
start over
nearing the
again.
part. The little wiping is called the singularity. Bye. See you guys later.
But if we're restarting this podcast now because now I have questions. No, but if that's not destined to happen, is that by somebody has actually some humans have actually designed that as an ultimate outcome that they
You
are hopeful
always
towards?
ask that at this point. It's so weird every time you ask that question. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you like, when we talk about destiny,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it imply an endpoint?
So I think maybe I should have been more. So like I have a thought of what destiny is, at least to me. I don't think that destiny is. It is pre-written that you will do this. I think destiny is a little bit more like those books that we would get when we were younger, where it's like turn to page 25 if you want to do this, turn to page 65 if you want to do that. I feel like life is a series of waves, and you can catch a wave and you can surf it, you can fall off, you can, well, however you do, and each wave is a potential outcome.
Sure.
And so, but the actual destiny part is that if you can get on that wave, whether it be, so you had that opportunity that day to do stand up, but you could have decided not to get on that wave, or you could have got off that wave. Had you gotten off, another wave would have come, because it's destined to come again.
Right.
And that wave could have been carpentry.
Sure.
And now you're riding the carpentry wave all the way to the end of time. And that's sort of what I mean by destiny.
That sounds so horrible. The carpentry.
Over and over and over and
the
over
carpentry
and over
way.
again.
It sounds like a hardcore carpentry YouTube show. Look, maybe everything up until this point is destined. Maybe that's a way to put it. And if data, if there is some way to, via some super intelligence, to sort of capture data that has already happened, theoretically you could reconstruct that in an identical way. Or maybe things just echo perpetually and we're in the echo or something like that. It's that Nietzschean, like, what does Nietzsche call that? Like infinite return or something? So
I never really read anything on this stuff. So
basically you're a record.
Yeah.
The record just goes around the same song over and over. Literally every single thing that you do, everything you think, everything is, there is
time is a flat circle.
Time is a flat circle, and meaning that if you're unhappy more than you're happy in a life, then you're in hell.
Eternal return.
Thank you. Eternal return. Yeah. Eternal return. Yeah. So it could be that it's like that, but ultimately, I don't know that it matters unless there's a way to hack the damn thing. Which is a different podcast probably, but ultimately, like, you're still like going to decide, like, in any given moment what you do next, or at least it feels like that. And it's a fairly convincing trick if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, cause that's what you normally say at this point as well.
I know. Do you know how hard it is to memorize all this shit, by the way? That'd be crazy if you had to memorize everything you said in a life.
Yeah, it's. I feel like, and I'm trying to be respectful because I know you do have a heart out. So we'll wrap it up. But I do feel like we could do this for a couple more hours.
I would love to. You guys should come on my show.
We would absolutely love to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm downtown
sure.
though. I'm not, and also I'm.
So a whole 3-minute drive. That's a little bit out. That's too far for us.
Okay, cool. We'll figure it out.
100%.
All right, cool. That was awesome.
Yeah,
you guys are cool.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this was. I mean, this was so cool because I view the world in a semi-similar way, or at least I'm exposed to ideas, and so we talk with so many different people, and everyone has a different approach, a different mindset, and a different approach to a mindset. And to get, this may not be at all like what anyone else is talking about, but it's very interesting just to hear, a completely, we've done like 20 of these and we've not had anyone talk about anything similar to this.
Really?
Oh no. The closest is like treating life a little bit like a video game or an RPG game is the closest we've come to this conversation.
Well, take everyone else's advice, for God's sake. Like
I like yours. I really do. I think it's very interesting. I don't know that it's we'd have to spend another 20, 30 hours before I could fully subscribe, but I'm into it.
Don't subscribe. All right.
Thank you, Duncan.
Man.
Thanks,
you,
man.
brother.
Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. We'll see you next week.